I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. Local health officials are speaking out about the reopening of Florida's schools in the fall. Karen Johnson has more.
Schools in Florida will reopen their buildings for in-person teaching for the upcoming school year despite the growing number of coronavirus cases throughout the state. An executive order signed by Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran, a Republican and former Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives, orders all brick-and-mortar schools, including private and charter institutions, to reopen in August at least 5 days per week for all students. Meanwhile, several local medical experts weigh in on the reopening of Florida's public schools. Flagler Health Officer Bob Snyder.
If it was up to me personally, I would not open the schools.
Flagler Medical Director Dr. Stephen Bickle.
In terms of, has health impacts, economic impacts. It's not something you can just do and, to go for maximum health protection. It's really an unknown. I mean, this is going to be a great experiment.
The executive order in Florida came on the same day President Donald Trump tweeted schools must open in the fall. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
We have now reached over 600 COVID-19 cases in Flagler County.
We're getting clobbered.
That's Flagler County Medical Director Dr. Stephen Bickle's assessment. He said that since the lockdown has been lifted, the numbers of coronavirus cases are up.
It's kind of sobering how quickly the numbers shoot up as soon as we come out of the lockdowns. It's like it's right there, and this is happening actually around the world.
Bickle said that this virus is not like the contagion of the flu or the measles. He said that people need to take the warnings of wearing masks and socially distancing themselves seriously. To listen to the interview with Dr. Bickle, download the Flagler radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, Dr. Bickle talks about how hard it is to get the numbers of COVID cases down. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
The main priority and the goal was to get the money out as quickly as possible into the hands of the business owners.
That's why Flagler County is doling out $10 million of its federal coronavirus relief monies to small businesses locally that qualify. Amy Lukasik, the county's tourism director, says they aim to make the process as easy as possible.
We realized if we started putting all these layers of requirements, then it would only make the process that much harder to draw down the funds that we have, and that just delays stimulating the economy. So we said, all right, now where's a starting point? So we sent out a survey to businesses and said, hey, what's your monthly rent? What's your average amount of utilities and your expenses? We wanted to gauge.
From there, they created 5 tiers of help based on how many employees a business has, with qualifying businesses capped at 100 full-time employees.
A sole proprietor would get $3,000. A business between 2 to 12 employees would get $7,500. Businesses between 13 and 25 employees are eligible for $15,000. Businesses between 26 to 50 employees are eligible for $35,000. And the last tier is a business between 51 to 100 employees, $50,000. And this is a one-time payment.
Businesses that were forced to close by the governor's state of emergency will be processed first. Another suspected drug home is shut down, this time in Bunnell. Tony Magoo has the details.
Last Thursday, the Flagler County Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Unit, with help from the SWAT team and the Bunnell Police Department, served a narcotics search warrant at 410 South Church Street in Bunnell. With us this morning to help us sort through this is Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. Sheriff, tell our listeners a bit about the high-intensity target list.
When you are a repeat poison peddler, eventually you're going to make the sheriff's high-interest target list. We've raided one already. The second one was raided on Church Street in Bunnell with multiple arrests for various narcotics.
The suspects were arrested for possession and other charges. They are 61-year-old Gladys Evelyn Warren, 22-year-old Jayla Stewart, and 58-year-old Everett Keecher Bullard. They were booked into the Sheriff Perry Hall inmate detention facility where Warren and Stewart are being held with no bond. Bullard is on a $500 bond. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
We now have the name of a person whose body was found floating in a pond near Palm Coast's Z section. Deputies say 28-year-old Mason Brown was found by a fisherman in waters off Belterre Boulevard Thursday. The Bunnell man's stepbrother had reported him missing earlier that same day. Deputies say Brown was naked, his body located about 40 yards offshore. His clothes and drug paraphernalia were found on the shore. His car was parked not far from the scene. His death remains under investigation, but deputies don't suspect foul play. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.